first of all,
Lights on.
lights on.
Yeah.
What's your name and where do you come from?
My name's Alex, and I come from London, and I work at Media Molecule, makers of Little Big Planet.
My name's Mark, and I come from Ipswich. Why are you laughing?
Is the camera shaking?
Ipswich is a nice place.
Man, Ipswich is where it's happening. I don't live there anymore, but you know.
No, because you guys live in Guildford, because that's where...
Yeah, I live just outside Guildford now, Farnham.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there. I'll tell you my Guildford stories later. So first of all, you've just had a talk at GDC. Congratulations, it went down very well. And you talked a lot about what I found very interesting, your failures and your successes. Can you talk briefly about, now that Little Big Planet's been out for a while, what you feel your 3 successes have been?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to kick off with one and we'll tag team it.
Yeah.
So the biggest success for me has been that we were absolutely astonished by some of the levels that were published. So we started the company in the game around creative gaming. So the whole point was like, let people be creative. And then the ultimate test of a good musical instrument or a good tool or whatever is that people get their own style, they do their own thing. And I've seen some of that in Little Big Planet. So that's number one.
A huge success for me, one that really makes me happy, is that we have levels that have been published by 4-year-olds, and we've got levels that have been published by 60-year-olds. And that
the age spread.
The age spread, if you like, is fantastic.
Mark used to say the demographic, like when we were asked by marketing or anyone, what's the demographic, who's Little Big Planet for? It's like, he used to say anyone with hands, which was like infuriating answer.
And the particular thing as well was the idea that a parent could play it with a young child, and I've actually had a lot of people, write to us or come up to me and specifically say that they really enjoy playing it with their
so it's neither young
child or something. So that's number 2, if you like.
Yeah, number 2. Okay, number 3?
Number 3 was, I think, technically to ship the game is really hard. And I think Siobhan, our producer, deserves a lot of credit there because, you can...
The fact that we finished it. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. You can have an idea, and then having an idea is one thing, but actually, getting the thing out the door, I was almost going to have to get bleeped out there, but, to get something... And we had to ditch a lot, so that was the other part of our talk, was in order to get the thing out the door, we had to basically cut off chunks. We went back. We had a whole awesome theme that was awesome in many ways. My favourite for gameplay,
the sea
theme. It was based around Brighton Pier,
Good
and
place.
had all these underwater sections and octopuses, and it was wicked. But in the end, it wasn't balanced, and we had to axe that. So that was one example where we just had to lose a whole chunk of gameplay.
I was going to ask about your failures, because it's very rare for British companies to be open about their failures. It's a real American thing, I find.
Right.
I mean, because you were quite open about it, are you willing to talk a little bit about what you feel were your failures in the making of Little Big Planet?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think there were good failures and bad failures. So the good failures are the one where you actually learn something, and you go, okay, we had to bin that. So we gave an example in the talk of the beanstalk, which is actually probably one of the most useful things in the game, but we had to ditch it. So it was that was a good failure because we learnt that what wasn't fun. We learnt what didn't work in Little Big Planet. In that case, it was if you make the whole level vertical and you're fighting gravity the whole time, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
There were bad failures.
It's a very specific, detailed thing that's still a bugbear of mine is the wobble bolts. Okay, so these are little motors that you can put on things that oscillate backwards and forwards, and they're a nightmare because to understand how the angles work is all completely wrong. And it's going to get fixed if it's the last thing I ever do in my whole life.
Yeah, that's the thing, you've got all these different scales, at some point you look at the thing as a whole, and at another point, you're a coder or an artist and you're looking at something and there's just a million tiny things, so,
So that's 2.
That's 2.
Do you want 3 failures?
You can do 3, or you can just stop now while you're ahead.
Yeah, I think we should.
3 successes, 2 failures.
2 failures. Well, maybe the third one is knowing what to fix next, and that wasn't really a failure, but it's given all of the things we could do, all of the improvements we could make, all of the failures we could fix, Wobble Bolt is one of about 1,000.
Yeah.
And then there's new ideas as well, people are excited about, water or the Paintinator we released with the Metal Gear Solid pack. You can do new stuff as well, so how do we balance, and that's going to be a really fun little challenge for us. It's with 30 people, how do we dice it up?
Also, I don't know if this is a failure or a success really, but I often argue with myself about this, but the fact that we revealed the game when we did, because it was so early on in the development, there was definitely a lot of good things that came out of that. But it also did, like you say, you know, it was a great recruitment drive, for example. But there was a lot of things that
I thought it was good. I
think it was good, but there was certain, I don't know, there's certain,
pressures
it kind of, I think there was a pressure to keep people fed, if you like, a little bit with new information. I felt like there was a little bit of pressure to kind of keep that excitement level up a bit, you know, and that, you know, which took effort. Sort of
yeah, it was
thing.
hard, but it's fun.
One of the things that you talked about was how much you iterated. You know, you kept iterating and you kept sort of very quick milestones, you know, once a month, and then you sort of reassessed, but you released stuff and you prototyped stuff a lot.
Yeah.
That's a real web model.
Yeah.
You know, the whole Web 2 idea. So that's just one of the things that you took from the web.
Yeah.
The idea of community and user-generated content. What are some of the other things that you took from the web?
We actually took some, it's like successes and failures as a theme of this. Like, we actually
Wait just a second, I'm really sorry.